So it's 6:30 a.m. I just got finished with my morning cardio. And yesterday, I ended a 1.5-year relationship with a woman who I truly love deeply and potentially saw a future with, but was not able to both be what I could for her and what I could for my business and my purpose at the same time, right? She's a good woman, bad timing. And it's definitely brutal. It's definitely difficult, right? You can't have any light without dark. You can't have the good times without the heartbreak. But that being said, I've been through enough shit. I've reflected enough to know that it's going to be okay, right? For both her and me, that this is the exact thing that builds a human being, right? Now, a couple people I've talked to about it said, you don't think you could have just seen her once a month and built your business, or done both, right? Maybe. I've been trying and I haven't been able to be there for her as much as I wanted, or my purpose, and the more I'm there for one, the less I'm there for the other. And so because of that, there's been a constant tension, a split that has been chasing me around. Now, at the beginning of our relationship, I didn't have as much purpose as I did now, right? I was running a different business, a clean out business. I was making good money. I was comfortable, didn't have much passion about it, but it was paying the bills and more. And so I was able to give her what she deserved. Now, through me taking the risk of being a coach, teaching my method, guiding men along the path, I knew it would be a lot more difficult. I knew it would be a risk, but it's turned out to be a lot more difficult than what I even thought. My expectations were way higher, or way lower for what it would take, right? Now, as a man, she always knew this, my purpose comes before my relationship at the stage I'm in right now, right? I'm in a building phase to where these are the years where I can actually do something like this, take the risk, right? Sacrifice everything, be broke for a little bit. And as a man, your calling, everything stems from that, right? Everything. My quality of life is determined by the success of my clients, the success of my business, and my own self-development. Now, do you have to sacrifice the girlfriend you love deeply for your purpose? I don't know, maybe. But will you have to sacrifice? Yes. And depending on your goal, depending on the difficulty, at each level, more and more will have to be sacrificed. That's just what it is. And it wasn't even the time I spent with her, or the dates or the calls at night, that didn't allow me to fully get to my business. It was what is required to build momentum is so much attention and focus without being broken, right? And when I would see her on a weekly basis, or even on a bi-weekly basis, I would build momentum. And then once I shifted my attention, that momentum would crumble and I felt like I'd have to build it up from the ground again, right? And so that made it very difficult to be present with her and to be fully committed to both things, because again, my purpose was taken away from the relationship and the relationship was taken away from my purpose. And that's something I just couldn't afford right now, right? I couldn't. I care too much about what I do. I've never had this purpose before, this much drive, this much clarity, this much direction. And I'm also in a financial state where something's got to give. She wasn't expensive, but not being able to build that momentum and give my purpose, my business, my clients all my attention is. And this entrepreneurship stuff is not for everyone, right? For some people it's perfect, but for others, you best have a strong reason behind why you're doing what you're doing, because if you don't, you will fail, you will quit. Something like 5% of businesses, or even less, end up being successful or making over 100K a year. I don't know the exact stats, but it's slim, brother. It is slim. And you don't think those people wanted success? Yes. But when the failures came, right, when everything was crumbling down, was there a reason enough to counterbalance that pain and to take the next step despite all that happening? If there isn't, you fail. And 95% do. Now, in this next chapter of my life, this happened about 48 hours ago, and so I'm still processing. But New Year's Day or New Year's Eve is tomorrow. And despite me not wanting to post content right now, not wanting to make stories, right? This is literally why I had to cut things off. And so my why is so strong that it counterbalances all that negative feeling. And I will just push forward, right? I'm not excited to make this video. I don't feel like, yay, let me talk about my breakup. Right? Let me talk about how I couldn't do both. Right? Let me create content and be vulnerable while I'm already in a vulnerable state. No, but guess what? My purpose matters more. That's it. And so I'm definitely going to create a certain standard for myself starting January 1st that is going to ensure results in my self-development, in my clients, in my business. That's it. Right? I'm going to create standards that create inputs that create results. Haven't decided yet, but we got my bodybuilding competition coming up, and we got necessity. I'm broke, brothers. Right? I've made just enough with my coaching business in the first year to pay my bills. But back is up against the wall, and the crazy part is I know without a doubt that I'm going to be okay, that I'm going to, on a monthly basis, be able to sustain myself. And then pretty quickly, pretty soon, going to go like this. Right? And the reason I have that self-belief is because I know I'm willing to do what it takes. I'm willing to get the coach. I'm willing to sacrifice relationships. Right? I'm willing to sacrifice comfort, sacrifice sleep, sacrifice, doing my favorite thing, which is going to raves and festivals. I haven't gone to one since June. Right? It's been 7 months. Last year, I went to like 8 in the summer. I bought tickets for me and my girl to go to one on January 1st. Those are sold. I could go, I have some friends going, but I don't want to. I would rather wake up early, set the tone for the new year, and do what I love most, which is fulfill my purpose, right? And that's a perfect example of why in a building phase, it's so difficult and you have to sacrifice so much, right? My girl 100% deserved that concert. We hadn't gone to one in ages, right? And that's why I was going, because she deserved it. I needed to be there for the relationship, but that wasn't aligned with my purpose, right? And if I truly told her that I can't go and I put my foot down, she would have understood, but that's not a relationship I'm comfortable leading, right? If I can't lead the relationship and lead the business the way I want to, right, something has to give, and nothing was giving, right? I tried, fellas. And so I'm not out here thinking, oh yeah, I get to go on all these dates and follow all these women. I'm out here thinking, I get solitude. I get to only focus on one thing and that thing only, right? That's it. That's the phase I'm in. And I love this phase, right? There are hard things within it, but there is no bigger dopamine hit. There is no deeper spiritual fulfillment than moving forward in something like this. Where on a daily and weekly basis, I get to hop on a call with guys that are on the same journey as me and see them win. And know that everything I went through was towards this. It gives my life purpose. It gives my suffering purpose. It gives my soul, my identity purpose, right? And on top of that, I get to self-develop myself to the max level. Because this is so difficult and because I have such a strong why, I unlock the ability to push myself to different levels, right? To push my edge. And so I am going to take this pain and put it towards something. Pain without purpose is nothing. It's a waste. It's just pure suffering. Suffering with purpose means something. It gives the suffering purpose, right? Now the hard part is I didn't necessarily get my heart broken, right? I love this woman and she was a good woman. I would still be in the relationship if I was comfortable, if I had my finances, if I was able to focus on it, but I can't right now. And so it almost feels like she died. Circumstances just make it so she can't be in my life right now. And that's hard. That's difficult. And the most difficult part for me is knowing that I created the pain and at the same time, I can't be the one to relieve it. Because if I'm the one to relieve it, she's not going to be able to move on. And so it's testing my strength, brothers. It has tested my strength since it's happened, right? But because I'm so clear on what I need to do, I have been able to think clearly, think logically, and make the correct decision. Now, you might not be watching this and have the most crystal clear purpose where you can sacrifice everything, right? But you do have a goal. You do have a problem you can solve in your life. We're human. We're always going to be dissatisfied with something, right? And that's okay as long as you're taking action. That dissatisfaction is what moves us forward, right? But dissatisfaction without action, depression, right? Stagnation. And so your purpose is whatever you're dissatisfied about with your life is to conquer that shit. That is your purpose, right? You can't fulfill any purpose if you don't have your own mask on, right? You can't put on someone else's mask if yours isn't on. And so think about it logically, right? Think about your greatest purpose, whatever you can imagine. Think about you tackling that now versus you for a year, a consistent year, putting in all the inputs that are required to become the man you want to be, have the physique you want, have the finances you want, right? Have the confidence, have the morals, have the strength, have the communication abilities, have the discipline, have the wisdom. If you do that for a year, if you have the greatest year of your life and completely develop yourself, any purpose that comes your way, you will be able to conquer, and that will become your new version of self-development. That was me. That was my biggest, when I was grinding, improving myself on a daily basis, making so much progress, that was my biggest struggle, is feeling like, what can I put it into? And now looking back, realizing that was my purpose. That was the most important phase of my life, was doing that, was actually becoming the type of person who was capable of fulfilling a purpose. Like, look at this dude. It's 10 degrees out, 6 a.m., and this brother is running at a high pace, right? You think he doesn't have a reason why? You think there's no pain driving him, right? For that man, there is a counterbalance to him doing that. That is painful as shit, right? But there's a pain on the other side of that, whether that's not fulfilling his purpose, whether that's heartbreak, that he's turned into fuel to be able to do that. Take your pain, be dissatisfied with it, turn it into action. Be intelligent and create systems and an environment to where taking the correct action is default, and create so much purpose in your life that all of your suffering has meaning. All of your suffering is going towards bettering your life and bettering the life of others. That's it. I love you, boys. We got a new chapter coming forward. My heart is definitely aching right now, but I'm turning that into the only thing I can, right? Let's win this year. I got some New Year's content coming up, and my camera just died. But as always, brother, if you want to absolutely transform your life, turn all dissatisfaction into fuel for a transformation, make 2026 the greatest year of your life, right? I am here for that. Get a coach, brother. Whether it's me, whether it's someone else, you need someone on the path with you. If you don't have that in our day and age, you won't win. You can't create a goal this January and expect things to change without changing your environment, your standards, and your systems. And that is what I am here for, brother, right? With love going into the new year, I will put a link in the description and the bio. Until next time.